So on today's episode, we're going to talk about close quarter fly fishing. So we're at this spot that we found a couple of days ago. We're at this little, it's like a little creek, river, stream, whatever you call it in your state, wherever you're from. But all we're going to do is just talk about close quarter fly fishing. So as you can tell, it's pretty tight in here. For fly fishermen, you know there's a lot of crap behind you. It's kind of hard to fly fish or just make a simple cast, especially if you're new to the sport. And it's just really hard to make that cast back and then accurately get it into the water, even though the water's literally 2 steps in front of you. It's always a little challenging. So today we're just going to go over some simple solutions to that, and if we catch a fish, we catch a fish. If we don't, we don't. We'll still talk about some tips and get you guys out. So I just came up on this nice little piece of structure. We're gonna toss at that a few times, and then I think there's 3 or 4 more pieces of structure down this little stream that we're also gonna toss at and hopefully catch something off of. So all you saw there was me just casting at that as best as I could. I think 3 of the 4 casts I got pretty close onto the structure like you want. Again, when you're just starting out fishing, these like close quarters kind of situations on the fly can always be somewhat frustrating at first, just because you'll get hung up in this Spanish moss that's behind me, you'll get hung up on a tree. It's just, everything's against you. But for the most being, it's not your normal fly fishing in the sense of you want a long back cast to get that long picture perfect loop cast or any of that crap. You're literally just trying to get this lure right to the spot. It doesn't really matter how it gets there. I mean, you could even just pick it up and throw it in there if you have to. I mean, you get desperate sometimes. But so you're not gonna see in these situations a long cast back in a nice stroke like you're on like the front cover of an Orvis magazine or anything like that. This is so, I don't want to say different, but it's more, I would say that this is actually good for a beginner, just because it's just whatever comes to your mind, just do it. If you catch the fish, you catch the fish, and at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. One thing I literally just thought of is, most of the times when you're fishing in these kind of spots, you're mostly fishing for bass, so you're not going to be fishing for trout. So in that matter of fact, again, it's good for beginners because you're going to be throwing a little bit bigger lures. I mean, nothing huge, nothing crazy, but the main thing is you're going to be throwing a little heavier tippet. So that means when you do, because you will, get caught up in a tree or a log or something like that, you're less apt to lose the lure per se. I mean, you'll still lose the lure now and then, but since you have that strong tippet on there, it won't come off as easy as maybe like a fly for trout fishing, because we all know when you're going for trout, you're basically using like hair. So that's another benefit to fishing these little streams. And if you keep seeing these like little splashes and whatnot along here, there's a ton of gar in here, I just noticed. And, I mean, there's a ton of them. I think they're either spawning, mating, just got done mating or whatever. All I know is that there's a really big one and there's like 3 or 4 little dudes on it. I don't know what that's about. I'm not from this area again, so I don't know. But we might fish for those in a later video. I fished for those a few times. They're, how do I say it? They're really fun to fish for. They are just very, very finicky when they want to be, but they are a lot of fun when they can be, if that makes sense. But we just got done fishing this little spot. I think we're literally just gonna go hit 2 more spots down there and call it a day. So we were walking down here and we came across this good looking spot. I really like this spot because there's all the shrub right here and it's just overhanging the bank of this, so obviously there's might be some fish tucked up under there. And this spot right here looks really good, so I'm gonna try and cast as far into there as possible. But in the premise of the video, obviously we're talking about close quarters fishing, so obviously it's backed up against all of the shrubs and whatnot right here. And it's, again, it's only a good, like, I would say that's probably like 10, 12 feet from this spot, so that doesn't really leave an entirely amount of casting. I know I botched that sentence, but good God, you know what I mean? So it doesn't leave a lot of room for error, so you need to just cast really quick. And this just goes along to what I was saying, is it doesn't matter really how you get the line in there, as long as you get the lure over there, you know? So we are gonna give this spot a try. It might take me a few casts to really get this dialed in. Oh, yep. And right on cue, snagging in the tree behind me. But see, since I have that strong tippet on there, I literally just horsed it out of the tree, which all beginners do. I mean, hey, let's admit it. And see, that didn't get as far in there as I would like, but all I'm trying to do is just kind of gauge the distance that I need. And even if I want to go do a little backhand cast, which in this spot it's a little easier, do it like that. And see how we're just getting closer and closer and closer into there, and then eventually we'll find our range and just be able to get it pretty close back up in there. And we'll just keep doing that. But yeah, that's really just the premise of it. It's not really something that's overcomplicated or anything. It's pretty much, I hate to say it, but fundamentals of fly fishing. And yeah, we can try to do the overhand, but that tree is literally right behind me, so. But yeah, that easy. That is actually going to be it for today's video. I hope there was some helpful tips in here. Hopefully there was at least one. Fingers crossed. But other than that, we will catch you guys on the next one. I hope you guys liked the video. Subscribe, comment. See you on the next one. Have a good one.